No, I've been really focused on the tournament. Um, I think that opens up a greater discussion that, um, I think all I can really say is I think maybe we need to be a little bit more strict in the way that.
The golf world expected Scottie Scheffler to stay silent. Instead, he stepped in with a message that immediately divided fans, players, and analysts across the sport. After Bryson DeChambeau became the center of another heated rules controversy, everyone wanted to know one thing. Would the world's number one golfer defend him, criticize him, or avoid the topic altogether? What Scheffler said was far more surprising than anyone expected. He didn't accuse Bryson of cheating. He didn't claim officials got everything wrong. Instead, he pointed to something much bigger, a problem that could affect every professional golfer. But before we reveal why Scheffler believes golf may need stricter rule enforcement, here's a question for you. Do you think professional golf should enforce the rules more aggressively, or are television cameras making small incidents look worse than they really are? Let me know your opinion in the comments because this debate has split the golf world right down the middle. When reporters approached Scheffler after his round, they knew exactly what they wanted to ask. The Bryson controversy had dominated headlines, social media was exploding with opinions, and fans were waiting for one of golf's biggest stars to finally weigh in. At first, Scheffler appeared cautious. He admitted that he had been focused on the tournament and wasn't eager to create even more controversy. But then his answer took an unexpected turn. Rather than making the conversation about one player, Scheffler shifted the spotlight onto the game itself. According to him, the real issue isn't simply what happened with Bryson DeChambeau. The bigger question is whether professional golf has found the right balance between protecting players and protecting the integrity of the sport. That statement immediately caught everyone's attention. Why would the world's number one golfer move the discussion away from Bryson and toward the rules? Because Scheffler understands something many fans overlook. Modern golf is played under constant surveillance. Every swing, every lie, every drop, and every movement of the golf ball can be captured from multiple camera angles. Millions of viewers analyze slow-motion replays within seconds, often reaching conclusions before tournament officials even review the footage. But does that always lead to the right decision? Scheffler doesn't think the answer is simple. He explained that television cameras can sometimes create misleading perspectives. A zoom lens positioned hundreds of yards away can make tiny movements appear much larger than they actually are. Shadows, camera angles, and slow-motion replay often exaggerate what players experience standing only inches from the golf ball. That doesn't mean players should receive special treatment. In fact, Scheffler made it clear that he believes golf may need even stricter enforcement of its rules. However, he also emphasized that officials must distinguish between genuine violations and moments that only appear suspicious because of modern broadcasting technology. Then came the statement that changed the tone of the entire interview. Scheffler revealed that he has known Bryson DeChambeau for years. They've practiced together, competed against each other, and spent countless hours around the game. Based on those experiences, Scheffler said he has never personally witnessed Bryson intentionally trying to cheat. That single comment immediately became one of the biggest talking points in golf. Some fans praised Scheffler for defending a fellow competitor's character instead of fueling public outrage. Others argued that personal relationships should never influence discussions about rule enforcement. The debate intensified almost instantly, but Scheffler wasn't finished. He acknowledged that even honest players can make mistakes. Sometimes a ball moves slightly, sometimes a player acts carelessly. Sometimes situations develop so quickly that no one notices until slow-motion cameras replay the moment over and over again. According to Scheffler, intent matters, and not every controversial incident should automatically be viewed as deliberate misconduct. That perspective reminded many longtime golf fans of previous rules controversies involving some of the biggest names in the sport. Over the years, elite players have received penalties for ball movements so small that television viewers argued for days over whether anything had happened at all. Those incidents demonstrated just how difficult it can be to apply the rules consistently in an era where every frame is analyzed in extreme detail. Yet Scheffler also issued a subtle warning. He explained that when he was growing up, golfers were taught not merely to stay within the rules, but to remain comfortably away from anything that might even appear questionable. That tradition, he suggested, helped preserve the reputation of the game. As professional golf continues to evolve, Scheffler believes maintaining that culture remains just as important as enforcing the rulebook itself. And that's where this story becomes even more fascinating. Because Scheffler's comments weren't just about Bryson DeChambeau. They raised a much larger question that could shape the future of professional golf. Has technology improved fairness, or has it created impossible standards that no player can realistically satisfy? The answer may determine how future championships are decided. The more fans listened to Scottie Scheffler's comments, the clearer it became that this wasn't simply about one controversial moment involving Bryson DeChambeau. It was about the future of professional golf itself. Every major championship brings incredible pressure, millions of dollars in prize money, and careers that can change with a single shot. In an environment like that, even the smallest rules decision can completely alter the outcome of a tournament. So here's another question for you. If you were leading a major championship, would you want every tiny movement reviewed in slow motion, or should officials judge only what can reasonably be seen on the course? Share your thoughts below, because there may never be a perfect answer. Throughout golf history, rules have always been considered one of the sport's greatest strengths. Unlike many other sports, golf has long relied on honesty, integrity, and players policing themselves. Legends such as Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Tiger Woods built reputations not only on winning championships, but also on respecting the traditions of the game. That culture is one of the reasons golf has earned so much respect around the world. But today's game is very different from the one those legends grew up playing. Modern broadcasts feature ultra-high-definition cameras, drones, super slow-motion replays, and dozens of viewing angles covering nearly every shot. Fans sitting at home can sometimes spot details that players, caddies, and even officials never notice in real time. While technology has undoubtedly improved fairness in many situations, it has also created entirely new challenges. Scheffler understands those challenges better than almost anyone. Week after week, he competes under constant scrutiny. Every movement is analyzed by television commentators, social media users, former professionals, and millions of fans. One questionable clip can spread across the internet within minutes, often before all the facts are known. That is why his decision to defend Bryson's character carried so much weight. Scheffler didn't argue that rules should be ignored. In fact, he suggested that golf may need stricter standards to preserve its integrity. At the same time, he emphasized that players should not be judged as dishonest without clear evidence of intentional wrongdoing. That distinction may seem small, but in professional sports, it can define a player's entire reputation. For Bryson DeChambeau, the controversy became another reminder of how quickly public opinion can change. One replay, one camera angle, and one headline were enough to spark days of debate. Supporters insisted the incident was accidental. Critics argued that elite professionals should always exercise greater care. Meanwhile, officials faced the difficult responsibility of applying the rules fairly while knowing every decision would be examined from every possible angle. The discussion also revealed something larger about today's sports culture. Social media often encourages instant reactions instead of careful analysis. Clips are shared without context. Opinions form before investigations are complete. Athletes can find themselves defending their reputations long before the full story is understood. Scheffler's message served as a reminder that fairness requires patience as well as accountability. Many analysts praised his balanced approach. Rather than attacking another player or creating unnecessary drama, he focused on protecting the values that have defined golf for generations. Others believed his comments should encourage governing bodies to review how modern technology is used during rules decisions, ensuring that consistency remains the priority for every competitor. Whether people agreed with him or not, one fact became impossible to ignore. Scheffler transformed what could have been another ordinary press conference into one of the biggest conversations in golf. His words shifted attention away from personalities and back toward the principles that keep the sport credible. And perhaps that is exactly what golf needs moving forward. Every generation faces new challenges. Equipment evolves, Courses become longer, athletes become stronger, technology becomes smarter. Yet the values that define the sport, honesty, respect, and integrity, remain timeless. Finding the right balance between tradition and innovation may be one of the greatest tests professional golf has ever faced. As the next major championships approach, fans will undoubtedly continue debating how rules should be enforced. Officials will continue reviewing difficult decisions. Players will continue competing under extraordinary pressure. And every controversial moment will once again raise the same question. Where should golf draw the line? Scottie Scheffler may not have ended the debate, but he certainly made people think about it in a different way. Instead of choosing sides, he encouraged everyone to look beyond one incident and consider what is best for the game as a whole. Now it's your turn. Do you agree with Scottie Scheffler? Should golf introduce stricter rule enforcement for everyone, or has modern technology already made the game too harsh on players? Leave your opinion in the comments because I genuinely like to hear where you stand. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth golf stories, major championship analysis, player reactions, and the biggest news from around the world of golf, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and never miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.